Imagine this, a powerful CEO, standing in the middle of a shining office lobby, raises her voice at a humble janitor and his little daughter, and yet, months later, the same janitor and that child become the only reason she is still alive. Sounds unbelievable? Wait until you hear the full story. And before we begin, if stories of courage, humanity, and second chances inspire you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see people forever. It all began on a rainy Monday morning. The headquarters of a huge corporation buzzed with the usual rhythm of ringing phones, echoing heels, and the nervous whispers of employees trying not to upset their boss. The CEO, a woman named Elena Walker, was known for her brilliance, but also for her temper. She had built an empire with grit, but the weight of her empire was slowly crushing her humanity. On that morning, she was rushing through the lobby, reviewing angry emails on her phone, when her expensive heels splashed into a tiny puddle left behind by the janitor's mop. In that split second, she snapped. "Are you blind?" she shouted, her voice slicing through the quiet lobby. The janitor, a middle-aged single father named Daniel, froze, his hands gripping the mop tightly. Standing next to him was his little daughter, Emily, no older than 8, holding a worn-out backpack with patches sewn on the straps. Elena's eyes darted to the girl, but instead of softening, her tone sharpened. "Do your job properly. This is a workplace, not a playground." Emily lowered her eyes, clutching her father's arm, and Daniel's lips trembled with words he couldn't afford to speak. He needed this job. So he bowed his head and whispered, "I'm sorry, ma'am." Elena turned and stormed off, her heels clicking like a judge's gavel declaring guilt. To everyone else, it was just another outburst. But to Emily, it was the first time she realized how unfair the world could be to people like her dad. Life went on. Daniel kept cleaning the offices every night, always bringing Emily with him because he had no one else to watch her. Sometimes she would sit in a corner drawing, sometimes she would hum songs softly, her small presence giving Daniel the strength to keep pushing through the exhaustion. He had lost his wife years ago, and Emily was his only anchor. He knew he couldn't fail her. Meanwhile, Elena's life, though luxurious, was cracking behind closed doors. The stress, the loneliness, the endless pressure to appear perfect were eating her alive. She lived in a glass tower but felt suffocated inside. No one saw it, no one cared. Until one late night, it was nearly midnight when Elena left her office after an exhausting day. The building was silent, except for the faint sound of a broom sweeping. As she reached the lobby, she saw Emily curled up on a bench, asleep under her father's coat, while Daniel quietly mopped the marble floor. For the first time, Elena slowed down. Something about the sight, a child sleeping in a place where no child should have to, hit her chest like a weight. She remembered being a little girl once, scared, and alone. But pride is stubborn. Instead of speaking, she walked past them. A week later, it happened. Elena collapsed in her office. The pressure, the insomnia, the stress, it all came crashing down in a moment of unbearable silence. Her breathing faltered, her chest tightened, and she fell to the floor. Hours passed, and no one came. No one except Daniel, who was making his nightly rounds. He opened the office door to empty the trash, and what he saw froze him. The woman who had yelled at him, lying pale and trembling. "Emily, call 911. Daniel shouted, rushing to her side. His rough, tired hands lifted Elena's head gently, his voice urgent yet steady. Emily, frightened but quick, grabbed her father's phone and dialed. She stayed on the line, giving details with a clarity beyond her years. Within minutes, help arrived. Doctors later said that if Daniel hadn't been there, Elena might not have survived the night. When Elena woke in the hospital, the first face she saw was Emily's. The little girl was holding a plastic cup of water, her wide eyes filled with concern. Elena's throat tightened. No one from her company had visited. Not a single friend or colleague. But here was the janitor's daughter, sitting quietly by her bed. Days turned into weeks, and as Elena recovered, she found herself thinking about Daniel and Emily constantly. Something shifted in her. She invited them to visit her at home once she was discharged, and for the first time in years, her penthouse felt alive with laughter. Emily would chatter about school, and Daniel, though shy, spoke about his dreams of giving his daughter a better life. Elena, for once, listened, not as a CEO, but as a human being. It wasn't charity, it was connection. Elena started helping Emily with her homework, something she had never had the patience for in her own childhood. In turn, Emily brought light into her home, reminding her of the innocence she had lost in her climb to the top. Daniel, too, became more than just an employee. He became a friend, someone who treated her not like a boss, but like a person worth saving. Months later, Elena stood again in the same lobby where she had once humiliated Daniel.